Well, hey now, everybody. It's the Rob from Kiss 106 and 103gbfrocks.com. Along with my tag team partner in podcasting, everybody, please welcome to the show the Samoan submission machine, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
And when we're done with today's podcast, Rob, I'm going to send you home to your family.
So I have to tell you, just to kind of just hit the ground running today, I thought that very strong mic work highlighted the entire episode of SmackDown.
The note I made was we are rolling on SmackDown towards SummerSlam.
I mean,
yeah, the mic work was on top.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I thought it was on the same pace as Raw. Like, really, nothing that was like grand slam home run level stuff, but very productive booking, very efficient writing, no wasted motion. Everything kind of felt like, okay, we're moving to something here. And that's what I like. It doesn't always, it's I'm sorry, it's that 1, 2, 3 kid style with Razor Ramon booking. I don't need it to be an explosion every week, but if you just want to give me just a little bit every single time, I feel like that's kind of what we're getting in WWE on both brands.
Absolutely. SummerSlam's 3 weeks away, so Raw has 9 hours to tell stories. SmackDown has 6 hours to tell stories, and so they're pacing it. But man, they are telling really, really great stories. And from front to back, that's what I thought of all of SmackDown last night was. They're telling great stories, and when they're not telling a good story, which I think is the case of the tag team tournament, they're replacing the good story with an excellent match. The Usos and the Bar was an incredible match. It was a great highlight of SmackDown, even if I'm not into the tournament right now. I don't like the fact that it's qualifying to fight the Bludgeon Brothers, but it was still a tip-top match, and then the rest of the good stories were told with, Jeff Hardy I'm interested in a Randy Orton angle, dude.
Yeah.
What's that say, pal?
All right, well, hang on. Do you want to start with the tag? Do you want my thoughts on the tag stuff?
Yeah, I'm all over the place. You pick where you'd like to start. I have a thought on everything, but we could start with the tag because I think that story-wise, that's one of the weakest points that SmackDown has right now.
So yes and no. So everything you said is right, but I disagree with the final analysis. I'm not having a problem with this tournament, and I'll tell you why. So it's a tournament, and that is the story. Now, you could say, Rob, that's a little hypocritical because you've been complaining about qualifying matches all year long. And That's right, I have. But let me tell you what makes this a little bit different. For starters, it's efficient in that it's just a 4-team tournament. There's 3 qualifying matches, 1 per week. It's in an out-of-your-face spot, meaning it's the tag team titles. It's not the main event. I mean, this is just 3 qualifying matches in a tournament style to get to a tag team title match. Like, this is totally different than having 30 matches to determine who comes into the Elimination Chamber and when.
And they've been good matches. The one we saw in Evansville with New Day and Sanity was okay. The one last night, I would say it was really good. And I think next week could be great.
Yeah, and even if it's not, it's only taken up 3 matches of TV time over the course of 3 weeks. So that's what I think is the big difference. And I'm not personally having a problem with this. And I also think that it's kind of hard to do a storyline for the Bar who wasn't there for a lot of this, which makes me think that might be who wins on Tuesday.
Right. Well, I was thinking that as well, but then you've got 2 heel teams, and you know how Vince usually feels about that. But the Bludgeon Brothers, remember, we thought they were just a total joke, and they could become one at some point. But the Bludgeon Brothers have been booked so well. They are monsters, and it's nice to see that they're being billed as monsters, and everyone's kind of nervous to fight them.
I gotta tell you, I'm not positive that the Bar is a heel tag team. Maybe I'm coming from the wrong place, but I kind of interpret them as a babyface tag team.
I see them as a heel tag team all day long. I saw it when we were in Evansville. It was very clear to me.
Okay, maybe you're right.
It was very clear to me that they came back as as heels.
Are the Usos a heel tag team?
No, I saw that last night. Every time when the Usos came out, they were cutting to the kids freaking out.
Okay.
The Usos have kind of babyface turned a lot like New Day, where it was gradual, accidental. They just got there on their own merit, and they're like tweeners that are getting cheered.
Let's do this. I've got a run sheet open. I didn't take any notes. And we'll talk about everything segment by segment because the show started out really hot with our best friend Carmella.
Yeah, girl was there, and she did a great job.
Teasing a baby, doing fantastic mic work. I'm not just saying this because, I mean, we've both been coming along with her since before we knew she was coming in. Her improvement as both, I'll just say a personality and as a talker has just come. I can't believe she's the same one she was in NXT. It doesn't even seem like the same girl.
It doesn't feel like the same girl that came over to SmackDown. Like she's not even the same girl that won the Money in the Bank. Like she won the Money in the Bank, and I was like, I see the potential, but I didn't see.
That's a really good comparison, yeah.
But that's all you saw was potential. Now she's running with it, and the spot with the chair and everything she did with Becky Lynch and attacking her, and I loved the James Ellsworth swerve. Like it's just being written really well.
So I was in the kitchen when James music hit, and I like dropped things, and Brittany was in the family room with the TV on, and she's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, is that James Ellsworth? And I got swerved, bro.
You and Becky Lynch both got blindsided.
Also, I will remind everyone that my favorite female wrestler happens to be Charlotte, so I'm not upset to see her return.
Yeah, she's great. What do you think about making it a triple threat match? That's bad news for Becky Lynch.
I feel like this was thrown together. I feel like if they knew Charlotte was going to be back in time for SummerSlam or even for last night, I don't think they would have had all the Becky Lynch stuff.
Right, but now they've got Becky there, and Becky's over, and I like how they're working it. I think I don't think Becky's going to win that match.
The only thing I didn't like is I don't like when it's like when they booked Becky to if you beat Carmella, you get to the SummerSlam match. It's obvious who's going to win. Same thing with Charlotte. It's obvious who's going to win that. I almost just wish they'd take a different route, adding people to the matches.
But I will say this, when you look at Carmella and Becky and Charlotte, and you look at what they're doing with the women's division on SmackDown, I'm actually enjoying it more than the women's division on Raw, even though I really like Ronda Rousey and I like when she comes out. It's just, the cast of characters is pretty weak on Raw. I mean, I'm sure you have Alexa Bliss and sure you have Ronda Rousey, but then you're also throwing Alicia Fox in there and Mickie James and Natalya, and it loses me.
Boy, I'm going to hard disagree with you there.
I know. I figured a lot of people will, but I'm just really enjoying the SmackDown Women's Championship stuff way more than the Raw Women's Championship stuff.
You may have your Carmella rose-colored glasses on. She's your.
I think I do. I think I have Carmella glasses, but I think I also have some Charlotte glasses on there too.
Okay, well, Charlotte's been absent this whole time up until this week, though.
I know, and then last night.
So you're saying as of last night, it became the better one?
Yeah, I'm saying it today. I didn't say it last week.
Okay, I'm with you. I still disagree vehemently, but you're certainly entitled to that opinion. I'm curious. This might be the question. Well, you're fine. I mean, it's anybody can have an opinion on this.
Pal.
Well, I mean, you got on one hand, you're looking at Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Ronda Rousey, Nia Jax.
Sasha Banks and Bayley barely matter. I'm talking about the championship story. I'm talking about the championship story, not the rosters.
Oh, okay. Well, I was interpreting it as the rosters. I still probably disagree, but it's a little bit of a tougher decision there. All right, pal.
I'm not comparing rosters. I'm not getting Riot Squatted here.
Okay, let's talk about the next thing on my run sheet we haven't talked about yet. Looks like Samoa Joe promises to send AJ Styles home to finally be with his family.
Killer promo. What a killer promo.
Boy, we don't disagree on this one, pal. Killer promo. I mean, just the intensity. Like this is what I never got from Samoa Joe before. I was late to the game with Joe, I admit, but I know he's been doing intense promos like this. I'm just saying I missed them. And now that I'm exposed to them, I eat them up.
It was so personal. You don't even see your daughter long enough to give her a hug, let alone look into her eyes lovingly. Who are you kidding? I'm going to do your wife a favor, and I'm going to send you home. Like, oh, my God. Holy smokes.
To finally be a good father. Right, yeah. It's like your family wants me to win. How does that feel?
Way to crank it up. Like, those two, it's super personal, and then the next one will be personal, too. I mean, like, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, while I've never seen their matches because I didn't watch TNA, and I'll happily admit it, I hear that it will be so good.
Well, here's what I want to say about this, and this is what I'm talking about when I say, like, so as of 2 weeks ago, there was nothing even insinuating that Joe would be in the title picture with AJ Styles. There was no reason to think they'd be feuding.
I think we both assumed it, but nobody knew. Over
the course, you assumed that it would be Samoa Joe and AJ Styles 2 weeks ago before Evansville?
He was my pick.
Okay.
When they said they were going to announce the one, I said Joe.
Well, because I remember you saying a waterfall of people, but okay, that's neither here nor there. My point is there wasn't any story there 2 weeks ago. And now, boy, this is why it's just so much better than qualifying matches. Because I just feel like the default thing to do is these qualifying matches to earn the spot to fight AJ Styles. You can do that road, which they've been doing ad nauseum all year, or in just 2 weeks, you gave me a sneak attack out of nowhere, a brutal one. You gave me a scathing, work shoot promo, and that's all
Perfect.
That's all you need. All you
and
need.
To be
is
fair, I did say waterfall promo, but I did say Joe would be the one that gets it.
Okay, again, that's not really the point. I'm just saying it's just the better.
It is. You've disagreed with everything I've said this whole podcast, and I refuse to be misquoted.
I didn't. How did I misquote you?
You did. You said that I didn't call Joe, and I did.
All right. Well, we didn't disagree on the quality of the promo. The only thing I disagree with you about is the women's divisions.
That was wrong.
And what?
And so I'm just defending myself. That's all I was doing.
Okay. Slow down, pal.
Damn, pal. Come on, pal.
I'm feeling the heat.
There's no heat, pal. I'm just saying. You said that I didn't call Joe, and I'm just saying I called Joe.
Did you said it was going to be AJ and Joe?
I did. I said there would be a waterfall. I thought that a ton of people were going to come out, but I really thought the match at SummerSlam was going to be AJ and Joe.
Okay. Well, but my point was there wasn't any story there prior to 2 weeks ago.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay. And I agree with you.
I don't disagree with you.
What do you disagree with?
Nothing. Not you.
What the hell's happened? Whose birthday is it?
It's Bunkhouse.
Don't even say Brick House.
No, it's Bunkhouse Buck.
Stop it. Is it really?
Yeah, Bunkhouse Buck and Devon Dudley testify. Come on, brother.
How many WWE matches has Bunkhouse Buck had?
don't come on. There's no heat, pal.
All right. What did you take away from the Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy stuff? Because I'll admit I was a little zoned out in the beginning, and then by the time he was washing his face, I was compelled but confused.
Good promo by Jeff Hardy. Personal. Love the stuff from Randy Orton. I'll start with the good, and I'll end with what confused me. I think the best thing that Randy Orton can do right now is not give anybody an RKO. He's coming in as a heel. He's coming in as this hot killer. I hate the fans heel. So why would he give the fans what they chant for? Why would he give the fans the thing they make signs for and wear T-shirts for? We've said it a million times, even when he's at his most boring, he's got the best finisher in wrestling. So he's depriving people of having it. He wouldn't do the RKO last night, and I love it. I love that he's just this personal, angry, awful, terrible guy that's trying to kill Jeff Hardy, who everybody loves. That's the good. I don't know if this is, I don't want to use the word bad, but I don't know what Shinsuke Nakamura has to do with any of this crap. And Shinsuke coming out, I get it. It's going to end up triple threat time at SummerSlam. But aside from that, I still don't know his role in this story at all.
Well, is it possible it's just unclear at the moment?
Maybe.
I mean, I feel like something could happen next week that could totally explain it.
Sure.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, he's a little involved. This whole thing was kind of born out of a title match between Hardy and Nakamura, and Orton came out, interfered, or I think it was after, it's actually a post match, I think. Either way, he attacked Nakamura and Jeff Hardy. So that kind of in a roundabout way gets him involved, if nothing else.
Right.
But
as far as this personal feud goes, he seems like he's on the outside looking in. Maybe they'll reintroduce it somehow, but like, so I'm just a little confused by that. But the Randy Orton stuff, I think it's great. And washing his face, that's his way of saying, you're done, Jeff Hardy. We're erasing this, Brother Nemo stuff.
Between the ear gauge pulling, just putting water on the guy's face, they made it mean something. And that's the little stuff that I'm talking about.
Did you look last night? Because I sure did. When Jeff Hardy comes out and he's got the blue earrings, I looked. The gauge of those earrings, way bigger than a finger. Way bigger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I believe that.
Like the Randy Orton finger pull it didn't hurt at all, but it looked so brutal.
That's all that matters, is how it looked, and like they showed a recap of that, and Brittany hadn't seen it yet, and Brittany was like, that doesn't hurt at all. I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm still getting the squeegees watching it.
Look at her. She's like, we're being worked.
I know. She's always on it. You can't get one past Brittany. All right, what's next?
She called Samoa Joe to fight AJ Styles too. I know it.
Some stuff even happened with Lana and Zelina Vega. She didn't, by the way. I'm sorry. I was looking at my run sheet. Are we going back to that? Or what are you mad at me for? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Here, I'll say it. I'm sorry that I forgot that you said Samoa Joe would challenge AJ Styles at SummerSlam, and I was wrong. I don't even need to go.
Mad at you.
I don't remember you saying it, but I don't need to go back and check, because if you tell me that, I believe it. And
listen to me. Just because you're a Bret Hart fan doesn't mean you have to work yourself into a shoot. I'm not shooting on you.
I'm not shooting either, pal.
I'm not mad. I wasn't mad back then. You're like, I feel the heat. There's no heat.
Well,
you got no heat with me.
Okay, as long as you're not getting hot there, pal, we'll be good.
No, I will compliment the vascularity of your arms. Cowabunga, dude.
Vascularity of my arms.
Come on, boss.
All right, thanks, pal.
Johnny Ace.
Even Lana and Zelina Vega had stuff happen yesterday. It was the weirdest. I had to. So I saw that Aiden English came out and he cost Lana the match. And I was watching it and I was like, did I miss where Aiden English cost her the match? And it turns out I didn't. This was a stretch, but I mean, it worked. Like, Aiden kind of tripped on the apron, and that caused Lana on the top rope to take a tumble. I don't know how the physics of that actually work, but okay, it's wrestling.
I'll be a little honest. While it was on and I was watching it live and not fast forwarding, I was doing stuff during that match because I wasn't all that interested in it.
Oh, I mean, it's certainly a throwaway, you would think, but it seems like it's building to something. So I know that after that, I remember Lana and Rusev had an exchange in the back. And if you remember, Rusev's like, I just need to figure out what's best for Rusev Day. That was either a week or two ago. And then Lana was like, well, guess what? While you're figuring out what's best for Rusev Day, I could have really used you out there. And so I don't know if it's for heat with Lana and Rusev. I feel like it's probably building to Rusev in English at SummerSlam, but that's probably the direction we're heading in, I think.
I think so too. If it's not by SummerSlam, it'll be after, and then they'll just put Rusev and Almas in a good match in SummerSlam, and then really turn the heat up for Rusev and English. Because Rusev and English will not be a blood feud that lasts even to like a Survivor Series. It'll be a Hell in a Cell chuck away match, maybe on the pre-show, and that'll be that.
Yeah, but I feel like, again, there's a few ways. I mean, it could even wind up being Rusev and Almas at SummerSlam, or and who's Lana going to side with between English and Rusev, and there's a lot of intangibles here that we don't know about yet, which is good. And then came the Daniel Bryan and the Miz which I'm assuming you also enjoyed.
I loved it. I mean, top notch. It's just top notch.
Yeah, it's what we want out of this feud. It's been a long time coming. It's almost to the point where I wish they'd even just keep it off until WrestleMania. But I'm not going to complain about getting a WrestleMania match at SummerSlam.
I don't know how they do it without it being stale. I mean, these two are so directly involved at this point. They'd have to find a way to separate them a little bit to get them all the way to Mania without fighting. But they could delay it past SummerSlam, and they may. But last night seemed like, the challenge, and he said no, but it seemed like SummerSlam is going to happen.
Oh, yeah. I guess I really didn't grasp the content. Did Miz said no?
Yeah, Miz said, I'm not fighting you.
Daniel Bryan came out and called the Miz's actions last week a disgrace. I caught that. Then he demanded the A-lister come out and fight him. I saw that. However, Miz instead appeared on the Titantron. The Beard challenged Miz to a match at SummerSlam with the awesome one called Bryan a crybaby. Oh, yeah, I remember the weird babies. Remember those?
All the babies.
Yes.
So many babies.
So many babies. They had to make sure every different color of baby was represented.
It was like Angelina Jolie's kids as babies.
Are they? I guess they're probably not babies anymore, but you're right. Yes.
They're all grown up, but if you take them all as babies, I mean, it was like Benetton at her house. She had all the babies.
It was like what?
Benetton. Like Benetton commercials used to have every gender of every child ever.
I don't even know what Benetton is. I'm sorry, I'm missing the reference.
No, I'm 40. Listen, I'm 40.
I was going to say like an elementary school textbook. That's what I think of. Because you have to have 6 kids in the picture and everyone is a different nationality.
Right. Although it's 2018, what's a textbook?
Right. There's that too. And then finally was the main event, Carmella and Charlotte Flair. No real heat there, at least for me, only because everyone knows who's going to win.
You knew what was coming. I knew what was coming. You knew what was coming. It was still pretty decent.
Yeah. I mean, it was a fine match. I'm glad that Charlotte's back, but I feel like the real heat of this happened at the top of the show and not the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. Because those stipulations usually 80% of the time, 90% of the time end up, if you win your match, you're in this match, and then they usually win the match.
I have a question.
It's a way for the champion to lose a match and not lose the championship. And
right.
Triple threat matches are getting boring to me.
I'm looking at your State College Spikes shirt. What kind of animal is that?
Ike the Spike. He's a deer.
Is a spike a deer and I never realized it?
Yeah, the spikes are like young deer. So like,
is that like
the spike?
Okay, so a spike is a deer, and I never heard that term before.
Sure, yeah, the spikes are like the stuff coming out of his head.
No kidding.
The spikes.
And his name's
the rack.
I always thought the spike just meant like I don't know. I almost interpreted it as like a knife or like a like a sharp object. I don't know. I never thought of it as a young deer.
Fear the deer. And I'm wearing it because they have a noon game. Today is a super splash day. So I'll be shirtless with a towel around my neck. But it is 62 degrees and raining right now. We'll see how it goes.
Well, listen, why don't we get out of here so you can get to that game? Say hi to Ike the Spike for me, please.
I will. There's no heat, Rob. I love you, Rob.
I love you too, bro. Everything's fine.
I'm not mad at you at all.
I know who you called. You said Joe, and it's over. Don't end on a weird note, Jake. Come on, bud.
Happy birthday, Yoshitatsu. I left him out earlier.
Yoshitatsu. Have a great birthday. We'll be back next week with more episodes of Post to Post, and I promise I'll have a new wrestling shirt.
I said Joe.